Namaste, aloha, welcome to the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Class, my name is Janapati Das. Please accept my respects. Thank you for tuning in. Let me take the opportunity to glorify and offer my respectful obeisances unto Jagad Guru Siddha Swarupananda Paramhamsa Srila Prabhupada and unto Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I also offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Jesus Christos in this time of Christmas. And we are going to continue with chapter 7 and reading the purports by Bhaktivedanta. So please join along with Kirtan. Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahams Namine Gaurakaruna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gaurakaruna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Jesus Christos Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Jesus Christos Swami Iti Namine Raja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Bhaktivinoda Raja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Haribo Nitagor Nitagor Haribo Haribo Nitagor Nitagor Haribo Haribo Nitagor Nitagor Haribo Haribo Nitagor Nitagor Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I was born in the darkness, ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Okay. Continuing with the knowledge of the Absolute, chapter 7. We've been reading some very interesting things about Krishna taking the opportunity to compare the noumenal and phenomenal energies of the world, the spiritual and the material, and about Krishna being the controller of both, and stating specifics about the gross material energies, earth, water, fire, air, and the subtle energies of mind, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then 5 gross physical elements, and then mind, intelligence, and false ego, 3 different subtle energies. And of course, Bhaktivedanta laid out the different sense objects that we engage in. In other words, like touching, tasting, seeing. And what else do we talk about? Just stating that everything comes from Krishna, and that everything rests upon Krishna as like pearls on a thread. You know, the amazing material universe in its complexities and intricacies of subatomic particles, bacteria and cells, and great universes and galaxies and black holes and crazy things that, you know, you would think, how is it that this just came from nothing? It couldn't have just come from nothing. There is no mathematical possibility that it could have come from nothing. Even the complexities of a single cell are so much greater than any computer that we've ever created. And what's to say about all these planets that are just have their own kinds of atmospheres and physics and whatnot that are working perfectly in line, that things aren't smashing into each other, that the earth is perfectly created in a situation to sustain life. It's just everything is placed perfectly. This all just, you know, happened just by chance, you know. So we're reading from text 8. Rasoham apsu kanteya prabhashmi shashi shulayo pranavaha sarvavadeshu sabdaha ke parosham nushu lasha taste aham I apsu in water kanteya O son of Kunti prabha ashmi I am the light shashi shulayo in the sun and the moon Pranavana Vaha, the 3 letters A-U-M, Om. Sarva in all, the Deshu in the Vedas, Shabda, sound vibration, Ke in the ether, Parusham, ability, Nrishu in man. So another wonderful part of the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna states that what he is in relation to the phenomenal and noumenal things that go on in the universe. Very beautiful, very poetic. O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound of ether and ability in man. So the fact of the matter that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and people still tend to think of the symbol Om as some kind of impersonal force. He is the symbol Om, and they will cite this as, you know, that he is this impersonal force. But he is, it's already been stated, it's already listed in so many places in the scripture, and we've already analyzed it in Bhaktivedanta. Swami Prabhupada has also discussed it in his purports about the sound vibration is a sound representation of Krishna. And every symbol of the AUM represents Krishna, the internal potency, Radharani, and the living entities. And the taste of water. This is so many wonderful ways to meditate upon Krishna in the material world. It even is said that when we drink water, Krishna is the taste of water. We just remember Krishna is the taste of water. We drink Krishna. The light of the sun and the moon, we can, the Brahmana does his Gayatri to the morning, afternoon, and evening time when the sun comes up and when the sun goes down. In the middle of the day, does his Gayatri mantra. And so we can see the light of the sun and remember Krishna. We can think about the moon and remember Krishna. We can hear vibrate the pranava syllable, om, and the sound in ether. So ether, it's this magnificent, as a musician, the physics of music is so amazing that this sound vibration is created by the musician, creates a sound vibration. The sound vibration is carried through the ether, this space as sound vibrations, vibrations, comes into another person's ear and enters the ear and vibrates accordingly. Goes through all the things in the ear, vibrates a little hammer that sends electrical signals to the brain. The brain perceives it as sound. It's amazing. This is Krishna. And the ability in man, everything that we achieve, everything that we are capable of doing and possibly doing is Krishna. It's facilitated by Krishna. And this, even Arjuna's ability, it's all because of Krishna. Krishna is reminding Arjuna that your ability to fight as a great warrior, everything that you've been able to achieve has been through my mercy. The ability and your ability to serve me now on this battlefield of Kurukshetra, or telling the living entity to use your ability in my service, because this ability comes from me. If you use it in your own service, in your own glorification, then it'll be a waste of an opportunity to utilize an energy that Krishna is providing you. Just beautiful. I'm going to read that again. O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether, in ability in man. Purport. This verse explains how the Lord is all pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies. And in this way, he is realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine, similarly, the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonalist conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and that there is no contradiction. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is saying that it's not bad that there's an impersonal feature, because it's true. There is an impersonal feature, there's impersonal energies coming from the Lord that are Krishna's energies. They're an impersonal force. We don't think of like the taste of water as the supreme personality of Godhead, and we put a glass of water or something on the altar and worship it for this. We know that the taste of water is coming from Krishna, and therefore the impersonalists will argue that it's just all one, that there is no actual form that this is coming from. But this is ridiculous to say. It's an incomplete understanding, which is why Brahman realization is although an accurate realization of God is the lowest stage of it, we have to go further. We have to realize that there is a Paramatma expansion feature in the Lord in the heart and in all the atoms. And above that, there is a personal form from which the glow of the Brahma Jyoti comes off. And so this is our conclusion, is that we should understand that there is an impersonal feature and a personal feature. That's what makes Krishna complete. That's why, because they will say, well, the personal form is limiting, but we say, no, it's not limiting, because it is a supreme form, and that the impersonal form is coming off of the personal form. It's incomplete to say that God does not have a form. So that's an important point. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achinta Veda and Abheda Tattvam, simultaneously one and different. The light of the sun and the moon is originally emanating from the Brahma Jyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. Similarly, Pranava, or the Omkara transcendental sound used in the beginning of every Vedic hymn to address the Supreme Lord, also emanates from him, because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names. They prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara, but they do not realize that Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are an illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. So that's the point of where we are when we come to Krishna consciousness, because of not knowing Krishna, we are actually in bondage in the material world. And also, oftentimes we will chant, when we chant Om, the Omkara, the Pranava, we chant Om Hari Om. Hari is the name of Krishna, right? Hari represents the Bhagavan, that represents Krishna. And so we represent Krishna and his sound representation in Om Hari Om. Text 9. Punyo Gandaha Priti Vyamsha Tejas Kashmi Vibhavasho Ganajivanam Sarvabhuteshu Tapash Shashmi Tapash Vishu. Punya, original. Gandaha, fragrance. Priti Vyam, in the earth. Cha, also. Teja, temperature. Cha, also. Asmi, I am. Vibhavashal, in the fire. Jivanam, life. Sarva, all. Bhuteshu, living entities. Tapa, penance. Cha, also. Asmi, I am. Tapash, vishu, in those who practice penance. Such a beautiful parts of the Bhagavad Gita. It's so wonderful, because we can praise the creation in this material world, everything as energies of Krishna. It reminds us of Krishna. So we don't separate the beauty of the earth, or the beauty of a sunset, or the sun, or the taste of water is separate from Krishna, but it reminds us of Krishna. And oftentimes Lord Chaitanya would see things that reminded him in the material world. When he was traveling around, he would see a lake, and he would think of Krishna. Oh, he'd be like, oh, there's the Jamuna, or there's the Krishna must be nearby. He would go jump in the river, or he would see a tree and he would think it was near the Radha Kunda, and he would embrace the tree and be very happy, So we can do these things, and Srila Prabhupada has often told us that we should think about the associations of things that we see in the material world, like the tree, and even just the tree alone. We can think of so many associations of the tree, Krishna standing on top of the tree to jump into the water to go against the Kalia snake. I'm trying to think, into the river Jamuna, right? Or Let me be strong like a tree, more tolerant than a tree, right? There's so many associations that we can think of a tree. The trees that the coward boys and Krishna used to climb in. And so this is a very wonderful thing that we can walk through this world and appreciate the things that are there as the mercy of Krishna, for us to remember Krishna and go back to Krishna. Krishna's, has those things there. In the Islamic tradition, they refer to it as signs. It's kind of like sometimes you have these things where you're dreaming and you see things and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm dreaming. And it reminds you where you're dreaming, right? Because certain things are certain signs that will tell you, you're dreaming. But we walk through this material world forgetful of Krishna, and yet there are so many signs that remind us of Krishna. Krishna is always telling us about things, in our heart, externally, in the material world. So we can praise Krishna by remembering and being grateful for the things that are here in the material world. Not as an attachment, not as like this will stay here forever, but as reminding me, we're going to go home. We're going to go home. We're coming home, Krishna. We're going to go home, we're going to bring people with us back to you. Text 9. Punyo Gandaha Priti Vyamcha Tejas Kashmi. Oh no, I read that already, didn't I? Yeah. Did I read that? Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah. Punya, original. Gandha, fragrance. Pritivyam, in the earth. Cha, also. Teja, temperature. Cha. I already read all these, didn't I? Okay, so translation. I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heated fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all aesthetics. So another wonderful poetic thing. I'm the fragrance of the earth. Have you ever walked around? I walk around in the rainforests of Hawaii, or just in the forests of the Sierra Nevadas, or some mountain where there's pines and there's a smell of the soil. You can smell, there's a fragrance of the earth. The earth has certain smells, the original fragrance. And Krishna is the original fragrance. He is the most sweet. And Krishna smells sweet as well. Everybody knows how Krishna smells, all the gopis and coward boys. The heat and fire, where it reminds us, we have a heat and fire, just like the digestive fire in our stomach. And the Krishna, that is Krishna. Krishna makes it so that we can digest food properly. And the heat in our fire, where our gross physical body is earth, water, fire, air, and ether, right? So fire is one element of our body that helps digest food, that helps keeps the body warm at the right temperature, whatnot. If we have a fever or a virus, the heat cooks up a little higher. We get a fever that kills off the viruses, right? So the body is perfectly designed to protect and to fix itself. And this is Krishna. I am the life of all that lives. Krishna is the source of, what is the source of life? Scientists can't even figure that out. They don't know what consciousness is. But Krishna is the source of life. He is the original Atma, Paramatma. He is the supreme Purusha. He is the penance of all aesthetics. So when an ascetic creates austerities and whatnot to try to control the body, that is also Krishna. When we follow Ekadasi, we do that is Krishna. We do that in trying to remember Krishna, so we can go back to Krishna. We make sacrifices in that way. Purport: Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance, as the flavor of fragrance in a flower or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor which permeates everything, is Krishna. Beautiful. Similarly, everything has a particular organic taste, and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibhava means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc., and that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to a low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we can become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. So beautiful, so wonderful. This chapter is just amazing that we can study the material world, which is okay because, oftentimes we think, there have been this sort of idea of rejecting the material world for the higher spiritual. And actually, we have to just understand it. We understand where its place is, what its purpose is, how we should not be over endeavoring to try to manipulate and but just to do our best in this life, to maintain, to live simply, to act, and to appreciate what is here that reminds us of Krishna. That's what Krishna consciousness is. And also just remembering that Krishna is the source of all these gross physical elements and subtle elements. Krishna is the source of all these things. This reminds us of Krishna, who it belongs to, who is the owner and controller of it. It's like the Sri Ishopanishad would say, everything animate and inanimate is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord, and that we should remember our allotment of what we've been given karmically in this material world, and not over endeavor unnecessarily for things. Just knowing well known that who is the owner and controller of the things that we are temporarily in possession of. What a powerful and what a wonderful liberating experience to be able to say, Krishna, I am so grateful. Thank you for the things that you have allotted to me in this world that I can use in your service in love and devotion to help me come out of this material world, out of this desert, out of this darkness, to come back to you and return to you and bring people with me to go home to you. Wonderful. It is striking. Text 10. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidi partha sanatanam buddhi matam ashmi tejas vinamaham. Bijam, seed, mam, unto me, sarva bhutanam, of all living entities. Vidi, try to understand. Partha osanaprita, sanatanam, original, eternal. Buddhi, intelligence. Buddhi matam, of the intelligent. Ashmi, I am. Tejas, prowess. Tejas visham vinam, of the powerful. Aham, I am. Translation. Osanaprita, know that I am the original seed of all existences. The intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. So we can't, if you're a very powerful man, it would do you great service to remember, I'm only powerful because of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And one day my power will be gone. Even if I'm, living as a powerful man, eventually death will take that. And Krishna is the original seed of all existences. So we can trace the seed back to Bijam means seed. Seed is a wonderful thing because Bijam Lata, that's the original seed of Krishna. Krishna, the original seed, is given to the pure devotee from his spiritual master to plant and grow in a garden. And he can also give that seed to his disciples and his followers. So my spiritual master has given me the seed of Krishna. And he said, plant that in your garden, till your soil. You have to till your soil. You have to prepare your garden. You have to plant that seed. You have to water it with the names of Krishna. And you avoid those things that are offensive, and you don't let a mad elephant of a Vaishnava what's the Sanskrit for that? Anyways, Vaishnava offenses against the pure devotee. Don't let the mad elephant into your garden. You grow that seed of love for Krishna, but your spiritual master gives it to you. It's the greatest gift. It is the greatest gift that anyone could give you. And to receive that, one should be very serious and diligent about preparing that seed and being able to grow it so that you can not only go back to Krishna, or, as it said, the creeper grows to the spiritual sky, penetrates the spiritual sky, and grows to the feet of Krishna and produces fruit, and you can do that, and you can give that fruit to others as well, the seed, and say, plant this is what I've done according to what my spiritual master has instructed me. Beautiful. Bijam means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. In contact with material nature, the seed fructifies into various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move, but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 8,400,000 species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in Vedic literature, Brahman, or the Supreme Absolute Truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Para Brahman, the Supreme Spirit. Brahman is impersonal and Para Brahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect that is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of a tree maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. The Supreme Absolute Truth is that from which everything is born. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities, and he alone is maintaining all life. Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada has said that, why worry about things, about being fearful of things? This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna too. Why be fearful? It's like, is it something who is the source of all these things? And is it anything that Krishna cannot handle? So it's a very good remembrance that if I need intelligence to do something right for my spiritual master, I can pray to Krishna and I can pray to my spiritual master for intelligence, because Krishna is the source of all intelligence, and the pure devotee of Krishna is the dearmost friend of Krishna. If we are fearful for something, there's nothing to be afraid of. We can take shelter in Krishna. That's why Krishna told Arjuna, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall give you all protection from sinful reactions. Do not fear. Do not fear. I will protect you. Text 11. Balam balavatam chaham kama raga vivarjitam dharma virido rudo bhateshu kamoshmi balata shabaha. Balam, strength. Balavatam, of the strong. Cha, and. Aham, I am. Kama, passion. Raga, attachment. Vivarjitam, devoid of. Dharma aviruddha, not against religious principles. Bhuteshu, in all beings. Kamaha, sex life. Asmi, I am. Bharata Sarva, O Lord of the Bharats. So we have this word Balam, which is strong, which is, of course, in the name of Balaram. We pray to Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram is our original spiritual master. He is also the source of all of our strength. If we feel fearful, if we feel weak, we can pray to Lord Balaram, please give me spiritual strength. You know, my spiritual master has said that it's necessary that it's good to have challenges in life, and we will all have challenges. We all have challenges. We have very extreme challenges throughout our life. People dying, we're dying, you know, things that happen, things that change, and we need to go deep and pray to Lord Balaram for the spiritual strength to be able to maintain, because we'll have to deal with it one way or another. We're either going to fall apart and rely on our own strength, or rely on the fallacies of the fallible things around us, whether they be people that we know. You know, people are not strong enough. They can give you some support, but people are not strong enough if they do not take shelter of Krishna to be able to support you in your fear. It's a very fearful world, and the death and the change and everything that goes on is very fearful. You know, all you can do is take shelter of Krishna, because that's all you have. I am the strength of the strong. Here Krishna is saying he is the strength, the ultimate source of strength, devoid of passion and desire, right? Because usually when you think about strong man, it's like the passionate warrior or whatnot. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles of the Lord of the Bharat, Arjuna. So we live in a very highly sexualized world, especially with the introduction of internet and social media. Everything is about sex. The jokes, the innuendos, it's normal. You know, like I teach 13, 14-year-old kids, right? You know, but they're walking around, they're highly sexualized too. They're discussing sexual topics. The girls are wearing very scantily clothes, and boys are making sexual jokes, and they're having sex. And here Krishna is saying, I am the sex life. So sex is not bad, but usually it's relegated for the person who is married in the varnashram system. In the ashram state of householder, it's known you're going to be raising a family, so you have to have sex in order to. But the idea of the sex is, we know that it comes from Krishna, and it's there to perpetuate living entities to come into bodies that you can help them raise them as Krishna conscious people, going back to Krishna. So that is another service you can do as a father or a mother. So sex life with it is not contrary to religious principles. So we don't just do whatever as dogs and cats. A strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. That's a really important point too. Why do you use your strength? Do you use it to abuse and try to steal money from people, or, you know, aggression against other people? You should do it to protect the weak. And that's why we have police or soldiers, or Arjuna was doing that to protect, you know, he would fight to protect civilians as a kshatriya. Similarly, sex life according to religious principles, dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious. And that's a whole nother class about how that's done. Text 12. Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajashash tamashashchate ye mata eveti tanvidi natvama tvaham teshu te mai. Yea, all those, cha, and, eva, certainly, shatvikaha, in goodness, bhavaha, states of being, rajashaha, modes of passion, tamasha, mode of ignorance, cha, also, yea, although, mataha, from me, eva, certainly, iti, thus, tan, those, vidi, try to know, na, not, tu, but, aham, I, teshu, in those, te, they, mai, unto me. Translation, text 12. All states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of this material nature. So here Krishna is starting to discuss, and then you'll get more into the modes, the gunas, or the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And here they're just discussing it a little bit. So the modes of material energy come from Krishna. They are part of Krishna, but Krishna is not influenced by them, all as we are. So we're influenced by goodness, passion, ignorance. When we go to sleep, we're in ignorance. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. So, yeah, just to touch off that really bad, goodness, passion, ignorance, goodness, sattva, sunsets, beautiful weather, beautiful environment, Lanikai Beach when it's not having a sewage leak or something, it's beautiful, right? Beautiful forests and just having clean food and highly elevated music like Bach or something, passion, right? Rajas. Kshatriyas are very much in the mode of passion. They have to be aggressive to be able to fight in a war. Or sometimes we get very angry because, as we've learned from the Bhagavad Gita, contemplating the objects of the senses develops lust, and lust develops passion. So, and then we have ignorance, which has to do with more like sleeping, lethargy, drug use, darkness. So these material gunas, the gunas, are manifested and influenced. Sometimes they mix. Sometimes you could be in ignorance and then come out of ignorance and be in goodness, depending on what situation happens. So you can see this all the way across the board in music, food, life, the seasons, everything about this material world. You can just ask yourself, okay, well, what am I? I'm in the mode of what right now because I'm experiencing certain things. So these permeate, and we are completely under this influence. We are just like great currents in an ocean. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he's not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. It's also like if you have a warden or like the governor comes to a prison and he's made all these laws that affect the inmates inside, and he decides he wants to take a tour and he's inside the prison. It's like the prisoner saying, "Oh yeah, why is he not in the jail? Why does he get to walk around? What makes him get the best food? And why he's not eating what we're eating?" It's like because he's the governor, he's above and beyond even though he's created all the laws, he can enter into the prison of the material world and not be affected by it. It's not like the guards will be like, "Okay, it's time for you to go back to your cell, governor." Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas are modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 13. Tribir gunamayayir Pavair ebi sarva idam jagat mohitam nabi jannati mamebaya param evayayam. 3b3 gunamai yai, by the three gunas. Bhavai, state of being. Ebihi, all this. Sarva, the whole world. Idam, in this world. Jagat, universe. Mohitam, deluded. Na abhi janati, do not know. Mam, unto me. Ebayaha, above these. Param, the supreme. Avyayam, inexhaustible. Translation, text 13. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Right. So even, anyway. Purport, the whole world is enchanted by three modes of material nature. It's like this phantasmagoria, this thing's going on. People are completely like bewildered by it. And they just think, this is my world, this is my life, this is who I am, this is what I'm supposed to do. Completely pulled around by Maya Devi. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So even the atheist will be like completely bewildered by the material nature, and even given the intelligence because of their desire to deny the existence of the Lord given them the intelligence to deny them. And they are just like, where is God? Where is God? God is dead. I don't see God. Where is God? Show me where God is. They're just completely like, ooh, they can't see God. They don't have that kind of eyes. They have Muslims call it a stone over your heart, right? The stone over the heart. In the material world, everyone is under the influence of these three gunas and is thus bewildered. By nature, living entities have particular types of body and particular types of psychic and biological activities accordingly. So Krishna is explaining all kinds of energies, that the gross physical energies that cover us, the subtle energies that cover us, the sense objects that we influence, the three modes of material nature that influence us, and just how we are in this body and completely deluded by this body and completely bewildered by our mind and our body and everything that's going on, that unless we go, what's going on? Is this really what this is about? I really need to know. And then Krishna gives us the possibility to inquire and start to inquire about, well, wait a minute. Is this it? You just live through your life, you get born, you maybe have children and try to raise your children and get a job your life, and you go to school and get a job, and then you're achieve something material, but then you die, and then is that it? Is that all the purpose of life? That's what we're all here for? There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called Brahmanas. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called Kshatriyas. Those who are in the modes of both passion and ignorance are called Vaishyas. And those who are completely in ignorance are called Shudras. And those who are less than that are animals or animal life. So actually Bhaktivedanta has said that everybody in this material world is born as a Shudra or lower. So we're like polished animals, as Bhaktivedanta Swami would say. However, these designations are not permanent. I may either be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or whatever, and in any case, this life is temporary. But although life is temporary, we do not know what we are going to be in the next life. Still, by the spell of this illusory energy, we consider ourselves in the light of this bodily conception of life. And we thus think that we are American. Yay, Americans! We're the best. We're the most democratically sound, whatever. Indians, Indians in the Indian bodies were like, you can't bring Krishna consciousness to those heathen Americans. Russians, the Russians look down on Americans. Now, Brahmanas, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is behind all these modes. So Lord Krishna says that men deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Godhead. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. There's actually a famous painting It's on Tusta's book. I'll have to show you. It's this cosmic material universe, right? And then there's people like peeling back the layers of the outer universe and seeing into the spiritual world. It's kind of a accurate description. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc., and each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature. Depending on the kind of body they are, they're in the different modes too. You know, they're in this mode, they're thinking that they are that body. So I may be in a human body this life, and I do act in a certain way, and I take on a body of a flea or something in my next life. And so I have flea consciousness, you know, because it's like my body is perfectly designed to what I created in my subtle, in my mind, and I created it for my subtle body. And so I have all those, I'm in a particular mode, probably the mode of ignorance. And I eat, sleep, mate, and defend as a flea would. You know, I'm looking for the animal so I can get his blood and drink the blood, or the human or the cat or whatever. You know, I mate with other fleas. You know, I fight against other, you know, enemies, either fleas or other kinds of, what do they call those? The animals that are attacking you. And then anyway, so yeah, so it's like we all are completely influenced by the material nature, and according to what body we have. We think this is really good food. This is good, the food in the mode of ignorance. Putrid food tastes great as a flea or as a rat or whatever, as a cockroach. You know, we live in Hawaii, so we got all these cockroaches here. And poor living entities. Wouldn't you be born into a cockroach body where everybody hates you and tries to step on you and poison you? Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. Yeah, you have to come to the mode of goodness is the best mode to be in, but it's from there that you launch into the mode of transcendental goodness. It's easier to receive insight as in the mode of goodness than it is in the mode of passion or ignorance. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord and his personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Yeah, because even if you don't understand what the purpose of your life is, you can't even get past that point of mode of goodness. People, they might be going to the Hawaii or something, some beautiful place to be in the mode of goodness because it's very peaceful. And then they get there, they don't know what to do with it. So they're like, well, let's get some weed and some alcohol and some drugs, and we'll get into the mode of ignorance, you know, or we'll have sex, and that's because sex on the beach, you know, and that's mode of passion. So you find you're in a mode of goodness, and then you do something that's in the mode of passion or ignorance, and then you get, you know, sucked back into this. Wake up lying on the beach hungover. They possess, when Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. And I think we're going to stop there at text 14. So thank you very much. Namaste.